Part 1. Focus on the customer. Closing gap 1. Quality of services is analyzed using the GAPS model of service quality. The GAPS model of service quality has two aspects: the customer gap and the provider or the company gap. The customer gap is the gap between the quality of service expected by the customer and what the customer thinks the company actually provides. The provider gap 1 is the gap between expected service and company perception of consumer expectations. In other words, gap 1 is formed because the company does not know what the consumer expects. Gap 2 is the gap between the actual design of the service and what the company thinks the consumer expects. In other words, gap 2 is formed by not designing the service as per the customer's expectations. Gap 3 is formed when the service is designed as per the customer requirements but not delivered according to the design. Gap 4 is the gap between external communication to the customers and the actual delivery of the service. The customer gap. The central focus of the GAPS model is the customer gap, the difference between customer expectations and perceptions. Expectations are the reference points customers have when they buy a service experience. Perceptions reflect the service as it is actually received. The idea is that firms will want to close this gap between what is expected and what is received to satisfy their customers and build long-term relationships with them. To close this all-important customer gap, the model suggests that 4 other gaps, the provider gaps, need to be closed.